Okay, I have 8 minutes left. Hopefully, I'll just put all the points, all the rest of the points in this video, because I don't have time. Okay, so the third point: if there are those who accept, this is chapter 28, encouragements of the Bodhisattva Universal Worthy. The quote is, if there are those who accept, uphold, read, and recite this sutra, memorize it correctly, understand its principles, and practice it as the sutra prescribes, these persons should know that they are carrying out the practices of Universal Worthy themselves. Okay, so why is this Bodhisattva known as Universal Worthy? Actually, all these epithets, could they be called epithets? All these like names like jeweled palm, Bodhisattva jeweled palm, Bodhisattva never resting, Bodhisattva firm intent, Bodhisattva law abiding, Bodhisattva, lion's roar, all these like bodhisattva, all these bodhisattvas, basically, all these like lion's roar, jeweled palm, never resting, constant exertion, all these bodhisattvas' names are actually descriptive terms for what is conducive to enlightenment and what characterizes a bodhisattva and the Buddha. So this is very important to know. So basically the Bodhisattva, well, it's not that important to know, but the Bodhisattva Universal Worthy, the Lotus Sutra allows you to carry out the practices of Bodhisattva Universal Worthy themselves. Why is the Bodhisattva called Universal Worthy? It's because the Bodhisattva Universal Worthy is very famous, and is known across all the worlds. And of course, the Bodhisattva is also very wealthy. So if you want to attain wealth and fame, and you have good intentions, you will aim to use the fame and wealth for good, then you can, through practicing and reading the Lotus Sutra, practicing as it dictates. So with regards to the fame and wealth that you will attain, for certain, if you practice this Lotus Sutra and listen to it, you should be responsible, of course, and unattached to that fame and wealth, because one day it may have to be relinquished. So you must always prepare for that. And what is another meaning for Universal Worthy? Basically, Universal Worthy also describes Shakyamuni Buddha themselves. So basically, if you carry out these practices that are in the quote, you will become an equal of Shakyamuni in due time. Yeah. In fact, Bodhisattva Universal Worthy could be one of Shakyamuni's mind bodies or projection bodies. So there you go. Point 4. Okay, equanimity, very important. Equanimity, you can reach a level of equanimity where you are completely undisturbed by other people's comments, or basically you attain higher and higher levels of joy and meditation, constant samadhi, that things that disturb other people, you'll be completely undisturbed by. So this is what's very important about equanimity. In the beginning, it might take effort to not be disturbed or not be swayed in any way, but eventually it becomes effortless. Wonderful. Okay. Chapter 2, expedient means. I'm going to quote. If a person will believe and take refuge in the Buddha, the thus come one will never deceive them, nor will the thus come one ever show greed or jealousy. That's not the exact quote. I'll put that in the description, but please keep this in mind. It's very, very important and most wonderful, because we can all do that, and Shakyamuni Buddha is the universe, is God for me, and I believe, well, yeah, if you can believe that, that would be wonderful. But basically, if God does never deceive you in your emotions and your desires, there's nothing in life that cannot be achieved that is concordant with reality, and you always know what that is, because, again, the thus come one, Shakyamuni Buddha or God, will never deceive you. Point 5. I'm just going to read the quote. Chapter 5, the parable of the medicinal herbs. I'm just reading the quote, that's it. Okay. The thus come one is king of the doctrines. In what they preach there is nothing that is vain. With regard to all the various doctrines, they employ wisdom and expedient means in expounding them. Therefore, the doctrines that they expound all extend to the point where there is comprehensive wisdom. The thus come one observes and understands the end to which all doctrines tend, and they also understand the workings of the deepest minds of all living beings, penetrating them completely and without hindrance. And with regard to the doctrines, they are thoroughly enlightened, and they reveal to living beings the totality of wisdom. Okay, point 6. Okay, I think there's only time to read the quote here as well. Point 6. The law, chapter 27, former affairs of King Wonderful Adornment. I just want you guys to carry out the practices as the Lotus Sutra instructs, as, what is said in this quote. If you have any questions or comments, of course, you can leave them in the comment section, and I'll get to you guys. Maybe not all of. I don't think there will be too many, so I'll probably get to all of them. But yeah, the law of the thus come one. The quote is: "The law of the thus come one is fully endowed with inconceivably subtle and wonderful benefits." This is what's very important to understand. The quote's not finished, but Buddhism brings so many subtle and peculiar benefits that are indescribable and actually unimaginable if you haven't achieved them. And that's why, for example, the Buddha is completely gentle and will never be violent, but has the power, the strength of 100 trillion elephants, for example. And that's not even an exaggeration. In fact, the Buddha's strength far surpasses the analogy that, the strength of those 100 trillion elephants. But anyways, the quote continues: where their teachings and precepts are observed, there will be tranquility and good feeling. From this day on, I will no longer follow the whims of my own mind, nor will I give way to erroneous views or to arrogance, anger, or other evil states of mind. I used to be angry, and I still sometimes do get angry, but joy is a necessity, and at some point you have to remain in delusion and ignorance to protect yourself and to actually help others better. Over time, you will shape your anger, and it will turn into compassion, where you can actually help other people and beings and cry for them. And that's when the anger, the poison, is converted into one of the 3 virtues, or, well, at least it's converted into compassion, which is wonderful. And last amazing point: everyone can become a Buddha in this life. In this lifetime, everyone can become Buddha. So, that's what the Buddha means. That's what Nagarjuna said when Nirvana has unlimited space. So everyone can attain Nirvana, because Nirvana is with the mind, and the mind is not confined to any amount of space. It is boundless. So Nirvana can be attained by all, and that is attaining Buddhahood in one lifetime. And everyone can do that in this life, altogether. That's, I guess, point 7. I'll end it here.